Alright, here I am back with some of this material. I said I would show some close-ups of it. So I'm going to try to move some of this stuff around. I'm holding this thing, so it's going to be kind of shaky. Sorry about that. Okay. Here's the switch I was talking about earlier. And let me back this thing out some and let's see if we can get a little clearer here. Okay. Here's the switch with the toggles I was talking about earlier. Now, some of your older boards is going to have probably a couple of these. I mean, it just depends on the type of board it is. But these are nice switches. I had about 2 ounces of these little gold balls before. Processed them. They were really nice. I save them whenever I find them. Okay, let's see here. Let me get moved around here. Okay, here's the board that I was showing before. Okay, those ICs are the rectangular parts with all the legs. Okay, all of those are IC packages. Now, each one of those will have the gold bonding wires. Okay, and these those chubby little orange things there are the tantalum capacitors I was speaking about, and that silver thing is the oscillator crystal that I was talking about. There's another crystal. Alright, there's the socket that flat pack came out of. Okay, there's some ICs. Now, people sometimes call these EEPROMs, and it's a mistake. A true EEPROM stands for erasable, programmable, read-only memory. It's a ceramic chip that's going to resemble a lot like this one shown here. It's going to have a white, or some of them will have that white sticker over it. If you peel that sticker off, it's going to have a window. As a matter of fact, this may be one. A little effort. With a little effort there. You can see, maybe you can see the there it is. You see the window right in the middle. Okay. That is a true EEPROM. Erasable, programmable, read-only memory. These are actually reprogrammable. You pull that sticker off, there's a light, infrared, or I'm sorry, an ultraviolet light that they shine on there. It erases it. Then they use another type of light that programs it back to whatever they want. And excuse me, people talk about chipping a car, and the newer model cars has got a computer in it, and cars have a chip, an EEPROM, just like this one. And when people talk about chipping a car, they have this chip taken out, or replace it, or just have it erased and reprogram it. It does several things. It can boost mileage. It can give it more horsepower. It can it can control emissions better. Chipping a car can do several different things, but that's what that is. And this is a ceramic chip. Unlike the unlike these plastic body chips. I'm in my own light here. Unlike these plastic body chips, that EEPROM is a ceramic chip. It's got a ceramic body. It's like rock. Alright, let's see if I can pry this thing up out of here. Don't have to be too gentle because it's coming out anyway. Alright, you see that white layer there? That white layer is glass. That white layer is where the legs go through. So it's a sandwich of ceramic on both sides and glass in the middle. Now these things, you can't hardly see it with this camera, but you can see the gold bonding wires through that window. I can see them. I don't know if you can see them here or not. When I replay this, I'll be able to see whether or not it's a good view of it. I know you can see the wires, but I don't know if you can tell whether or not they're gold. Again, these, I had two types of bonding wires used. Bonding wires are either gold or they're aluminum. They used aluminum for a while. They thought it was going to be better, but it just couldn't stand up to the heat, so they went back to gold. Anyway, this is one of the boards. This is the board that I was just showing you. Let's set that one aside and get this one over here. Okay. Now there's the those tantalum capacitors I was talking about. I believe those are tantalum capacitors. It might not be. But it sure looks like it to me. I would be fooled if it wasn't. Alright, now let me get my little pointer here. This is the thyristor or transistor, whichever one that I was pointing at earlier. Like I said, it resembles a top hat. It's got a lip down here on the bottom, and you really can't see the legs on it because it's got a spacer underneath it. The legs are usually gold plated. It's got gold plating underneath, and you remove this stainless or nickel plated steel cap off, and there's gold underneath that as well. Okay, and you got more IC packages here. Okay, see those dual inline processors there. Those ICs are nice and pretty. Okay, they've got these pins on each end. Alright. Let's see, this little thing right here, this has no PM value whatsoever. Okay. Alright, this little black thing right here with the 3 legs is a transistor. And sometimes they're gold-plated legs. But this one doesn't have gold-plated legs on it. I guess they figured that it just wasn't that essential. Okay. Now, these things right here, let's see, these two here and this one is a tantalum capacitor. That's the ones I was pointing to earlier that you couldn't see. Okay. Alright, that's a tantalum capacitor. Let's see. Let's see what I got here. Okay, here's that HP board I was talking about earlier. You can see it's got gold traces that are bare. They're bare gold traces. And the back is covered. The traces is still gold. It's just covered with solder. Again, I have no understanding why it needs to be covered with solder. Seems like the traces would be pretty corrosion resistant with gold covered traces. But I've still got quite a bit of this stuff left. I have yet to gather it all up and process it. I got several 100 pounds of this stuff here to go through. This is the fingerboard I was talking about earlier. This is a modem. It's a communications. It's a networking card. Is what it is. As a fingerboard, it's got that flat pack right there. Okay, there's a couple of IC chips. Okay. Now this little black square one, it has 2 legs. Okay. Now right beside it is a couple of the MLCCs. Okay. But that black one can be either a tantalum capacitor, which I believe that it's a tantalum. If it has a plus or minus on either end, it's a tantalum capacitor. Okay, the ones that's over here beside it, the 2 smaller tan colored ones, that's a MLCC. Those are multi-layered ceramic capacitors, or some people call them monolithic ceramic capacitors, and they contain palladium and silver. Now these tantalum capacitors, most tantalum capacitors are going to have a small amount of silver in them anyway, so there's always something good in those. Let's see over here, that's the connector for looks like an antenna port. Okay, there's the data cable hookup. Okay, those 2 orange bulbous looking components right there are tantalum capacitors. Okay, that little array across the top there, those are MLCCs. See, there's a lot of them on here. Most newer electronics have a lot of these on it. Okay, now like I said before, these sell by the pound. If you'd rather sell them by the pound, You can look them up on eBay. They're sold all the time. You can process them. I don't buy anything from eBay. It's crazy. People just, I don't know. You talk about precious metals on eBay and people go crazy. I wouldn't buy anything from eBay. There's the oscillator. That's an oscillating crystal. Now what this does is it's a frequency of whatever channel that happens to be on. These are used in communication pieces, and like I said before, that crystal inside is going to be, it'll have silver or gold. About 90% will have silver, probably 10% will have gold. I've found a fair amount of gold plated ones in my time, so you know, it's enough that I wouldn't be afraid to say that there are plenty of gold plated ones out there. Alright. Now here's a board that is this is out of this is, I think it's from a Toledo scale that was demoed. It's got some interesting pieces on it. You'll notice that it's gold plated traces, and even though it's got solder mask, it's gold traces under the solder mask. I've already tested it. I've already checked it, and it is gold under the solder mask. The solder mask will be removed using sodium hydroxide, or lye. I'll deplate this board, or depopulate rather. I'll depopulate the board either with a chisel. I use a painter's tool. It's more sturdy than a scraper, but it's not quite as thick as a wood chisel, but it works good for this type of stuff. A painter's tool is sharp and it's beveled on one side. Okay, so these things here with the heat sink on it are those transistors I was talking about, like these. Alright, and these will have gold legs, like I said, gold plated on the bottoms, some gold inside of that. So those will be removed and taken apart. These connectors, it's got pieces of wire still clamped to them. I don't know how visible it is in this picture, but the wire connectors that they're connected to is gold plated. So the pins sticking up are nice and thick gold plated pins, and when you pull these off, when you pull this off, it's got a gold plated barrel on the inside, and they're on there real good, so you really can't just pull it off. It takes a pair of pliers. But it's gold plated on the inside of that barrel, so it's some good gold connectors. Now okay, this is an interesting component right here. Let's see if I can find it with my pointer. Okay, here we are. Okay, this component right here. Alright, that brown thing. Okay, this thing is called a dog bone. Here's another. Now these are it's called a dog bone in certain circles. It's silver. It's a silver mica capacitor. inside of that thing, and the reason it's called a dog bone is because it's really similar in shape to a dog bone. I've seen these, they get really large. I forgot the ratio, but it's pure silver inside this thing. It's a layer of silver, a layer of mica, a layer of silver, and a layer of mica. It's like silver foil. You bust this off with a hammer. You can bust this resin off with a hammer, and you got a silver plated copper leg. It comes up on each side, and it's sort of solder flux to both ends, to either end here. Then when you bust that off, you pull the leg off on each side, and I'll show you one here in just a minute that's already had all this knocked off of it. I've got a couple over here that I've already knocked off, and I'll show you what that looks like. There's some more of those transistors. Those should be collected. It takes a bit of those. I'm gonna try to process a batch of them in nitric and just see what I get out of them. Just dissolve the whole thing in nitric acid. Of course, the gold will not dissolve in just nitric acid, so like I said before, almost all of this contains something that I want. There's another up close of that dog bone. These components, as you can see, they vary in color. This one's lighter brown, and this one's almost black, but it's the same thing. There's another, and there's another. I've seen components have these on there that was, compared to these, were huge. It's always worth looking out for. Always worth looking out for. Okay, this is a communications device. It looks like a laptop motherboard. Of course, it's not. It's not a laptop. It's one of those V things, VLNs. I got several of these in scrap, and the interesting thing about this is these chips. Here. Now this is the same as a flat pack chip. You can see it's got legs on all four sides, but the body is made out of metal. Now if I opened it up, the chip, bonding wires and all would be exposed. It's very beautiful, gold colored all over, and the bonding wires are long. It's a lot longer in this thing than it would be in a regular IC chip. I don't know exactly what this is. It's only in communications that I know of. Now there's a larger MLCC right there. Now those things do get big. The tan thing with the two lighter ends, that thing gets really big. I've seen them very large. It doesn't take long to get a pound of them because they're very heavy. They get as small as a grain of sand, or they get 10, 15, 20 centimeters long. They're all worth saving because they all have precious metals in them. IC packages, those are the same as memory type, and they all have good gold in them. Then you get up in here, all this little bitty stuff here, all these little bitty components, tiny little components that's about the size of a grain of sand. All those are MLCCs. All these little tiny IC packages, tiny little IC packages. Each one of those has gold bonding wires. So, you know, I'm really zoomed in on this. So those things are really small. You know, I couldn't put my finger on it. My finger would cover up, you know, this whole area that I'm showing you now. So they're really small, but each one contains gold. Okay, these things. These are tantalum capacitors. So tantalum capacitors normally have one leg on each end, and that's about all they have. So let's see here. Let's see if I can get a shot of this stuff. Okay. Another type of tantalum capacitor that you'll see normally in most everyday normal electronics is these square yellow ones. See that yellow stuff right there? Those yellow ones? Those are tantalum capacitors. That's going to have a centered pellet inside of it. And those pellets you can collect those and sell them right to the refiner, or do like me and find somebody that buys that type of stuff. Got this guy and he likes buying it, but I don't know how he's refining it or if he just sells it to the refiner like it is, but it doesn't matter to me as long as he pays me. Okay, and this board this is another military grade board. It's going to have gold traces all the way through it, even though it's got solder mask covering it. They're gold plated, and it's going to have some good components. There's some dog bone silver mica capacitors. That big yellow one right there in the middle of the screen, that's a tantalum capacitor. When you wind all that stuff off, it's got a barrel inside of it that's metal. And see if I can get a picture of some of these. Those metal ones there that you see, there's a couple of metal ones there. Those are tantalum capacitors. Now, I've got a couple of larger ones that I'm going to show, but those metal ones, they're tantalum. They get huge. I mean, they really get big. The way to tell whether a capacitor is a tantalum or if it's an electrolytic is to mash it with a pair of diagonal pliers, side cutters. If it squishes down like you're going to be able to cut it in two, it's full of aluminum foil, and that's all it is. But if you can't put a dent in it with diagonal pliers, it's a tantalum. There's some of those transistors. I really like those. I'm going to do a video on those when I start to process them and give everybody an idea about what they bring. Those transistors are on older electronics and higher end electronics. It's not on computers. You don't find them on computers. Alright, now I'm going to make a mess. Okay, this is silver plated stuff. Now this is one of those dog bones with the epoxy knocked off and the legs took off. That's silver mica. That's pure silver and mica glass is all it is. That's what comes out of them. You can melt it directly, just like this. Use some sodium carbonate to thin it with. Some sodium carbonate and some borax flux, and you can melt that directly. Melt them into a bead and just pour it off. These are connectors. They're all silver plated connectors. One of these days I'm gonna do these. I've probably got 30 pounds of these things. They're gold. No, they're silver plated. I've got a lot of gold plated pins. It looks just like that. These are military grade. Some of this stuff came from NASA. Let's see here. Okay, here's some samples of stuff that I've brought in here to check. Now all this is gold plated. These are switches. This is a switch, and as you can see, the base is gold plated. All the prongs is gold plated on it. Now this is a resistor, gold plated resistor. You don't really see those anymore. A lot of these on the crap that I get for some reason. There's some gold plated legs. Here's one of those transistors, actually, that I've popped the top off. You know, the top hats I was talking about. This is what's inside of it. That little button right there. Okay, the bottom of it, the legs has been broken off, but it's got three legs on it, and that lip is where that silver cap was on it. I've popped that cap off, and this is what's underneath. Okay, now let's look at some of these. Those are tantalum capacitors. Alright, you can tell they're tantalums because of that nipple on the end. See that big nipple sticking off the end of it? That's a tantalum tube. It comes off the end. It's got a piece of nickel wire soldered to it. There's some of the yellow ones I was talking about, but they have these tubes inside of them. Now all these are tantalum capacitors. Some of them have silver bodies on the solid silver. The body, or the case that's on it, is silver, and it's got a tantalum centered pellet on the inside of it. Now I don't know what they're really worth on the open market. I don't know what tantalum goes for them, but here's a pellet. Now that's pure tantalum. That's what's inside of those. It's very heavy. I mean, if you could feel it, it's like holding a piece of lead. It's heavy. But those are tantalum capacitors. All this is off of, you won't find this on computer scrap. This is not your average computer type scrap. This is high-end military type stuff right here. Alright, well y'all, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I said I would get some close-ups of this stuff. This is not all I've got. I've got probably a couple of tons of this crap around here that I'm still dealing with. So you know, there's plenty more to come.